Yug, frightened, says to Abhimanyu, "Did you hear that sound?" Abhimanyu, surprised, asks, "What sound?" Yug replies, "The voice of a girl." Abhimanyu laughs and says, "Man, since when have you started imagining a girl's voice everywhere? Why are you even talking about a girl's voice here?" Yug answers, "I don't know, but honestly, I've heard it 2 or 3 times. I really think I heard a girl's voice." Abhimanyu jokes, "Looks like your ears are ringing too much. Tell me, on the way here, did you have headphones in your ears listening to music?" Yug says, "Yes, but how do you know that?" Abhimanyu replies, "That's why you're hearing voices. It happens when we listen to songs for 3 or 4 hours straight. The lyrics stick in our minds and start echoing inside our ears." Before Yug can say anything, Abhimanyu interrupts, "Forget that. Since when were you saying we should come to this graveyard mansion? Now that the lock has opened, are you standing outside waiting for some auspicious moment or waiting for someone to come and invite you in?" Yug doesn't answer and walks inside the mansion. Inside, there was no light. It was completely dark, so dark that nothing was visible. Entering behind him, Abhimanyu says, "Man, it's so dark here. Feels like we've entered some city of darkness." Yug switches on his phone's torch. Since he had spent his childhood in this mansion, he knew where the light switch was. Within moments, Yug finds it, and suddenly the entire mansion is filled with brightness. Looking at the glowing halogen bulbs, Abhimanyu says, "Did you notice something?" Yug asks, "What?" Abhimanyu replies, "This mansion has been locked for 13 years. But look, the electricity connection is still working. How's that possible?" Yug thinks for a while and says, "Maybe the electricity department never cut off the supply." Abhimanyu quickly asks, "And why would they not cut it?" Yug replies, "Because even they must have been afraid of the Yakshini's curse. They might have been too scared to come here." Abhimanyu says nothing because Yug's explanation actually makes sense. He starts observing the mansion. Since it had been closed for so many years, everything was covered in dust. Spider webs hung everywhere. Two giant domes decorated the mansion, making it look majestic. The stairs were made of marble. The hall had massive chandeliers imported from Burma and Belgium. The furniture was made of mahogany wood. The walls were adorned with old paintings, decorated with swords, ropes, and axes, ancient relics from a bygone era. Looking at them gave the feeling that each item carried its own story. Abhimanyu turns and says, "This graveyard mansion looks absolutely magnificent from the inside. It's such an old building, yet it looks as if it was built just a year or two ago. Say what you want, but the British really did quality work lasting for decades. What I don't understand is why your relatives kept such a beautiful mansion locked up all these years." Yug doesn't reply, but says sadly, "This mansion is unlucky. In a week or two, when your vacation ends, you'll go back, and it'll be locked up again." Abhimanyu laughs. "Where else would you go? Back to your city, Bangalore. You just came here to spend your holidays, right?" Yug replies with a sad face, "I've left Bangalore. I won't go anywhere now. I'll stay here forever." Abhimanyu widens his eyes in shock. "What? You left Bangalore? But why? You were settled there, right? After your uncle passed away, you stayed there for 13 years. What happened that made you leave everything behind and return to the village? You know, life here is nothing like the city. In this backward place, even basic necessities are hard to find." Yug says, "I know. But I've made my decision. No matter what, I'll stay here." Abhimanyu presses, "But why? What happened in the city that made you give up everything and return here?" Yug replies tiredly, "Not now. I don't feel like talking. I'm exhausted from the long journey. My head is hurting, and I just want to sleep. I'll tell you everything in the morning." Understanding his condition, Abhimanyu sighs and says, "Fine, but where will you sleep? The mansion is covered in dust. You can't lie down on this filth." Blowing the dust off the dining table, Abhimanyu laughs. Yug looks around and says, "Guess tomorrow morning our first task will be cleaning. But for tonight, I have 2 blankets in my bag. Take one, I'll take the other. We'll spread them on the floor and sleep." Later that night, Yug has a dream. A mysterious girl in a black sari sits with him. She rests her head on his shoulder and asks, "Will you ever forget me?" Yug replies tenderly, "You're not something I can forget. You're someone I want to keep with me forever, in my arms." The girl, half smiling, says, "You're so good at making up sweet words. Tell me, What am I to you? Yug jokes, You mean nothing to me. My life is mine, not yours. The girl, upset, says, So everything you've been doing with me is fake? All boys are the same. They just want one thing, the girl's body, and once they're done, they leave. She tries to walk away, but Yug holds her hand. Hey, don't be angry. I was just joking, my love. You want to know your place in my life? Listen carefully. Pulling her closer, looking deep into her eyes, Yug says, You are the H2O of my life, the water that quenches my thirst. You are the oxygen that I breathe to live. You're the dream I see every night, the peace I find only in your arms. Without you, I am nothing. The truth is, without you, I don't exist. Their lips meet, their bodies draw closer, trembling with passion. They hold each other tightly, rolling on the sand near the river. Their souls merge in fiery intimacy. The girl whispers again and again, Promise me you won't forget me. And Yug replies every time, Never, I will never forget you. But suddenly, heat builds in his body, sweat pours from his forehead, the fire grows unbearable. He jolts awake, panting, whispering, Oh my god, that dream again. Wiping his sweat, he wonders aloud, Why do I keep seeing the same dream? Who is that girl? Why can't I see her face? I've never been this close to any girl in my life. Who is she, and what connection do I have with her? He drinks water, lies back down, staring at the ceiling, thinking, The river in my dream was the Krishna River. If that's real, maybe the girl is real too. If I find her once, all the secrets of these dreams will be revealed. These dreams can't just be random, especially not the ones filled with such passion. Soon he drifts back to sleep. By morning, Abhimanyu wakes to the sound of roosters. He sees Yug already awake and deep in thought. You're up early. What are you thinking about so seriously? For a moment, Yug wants to tell him about the dream, but then he thinks Abhimanyu might call him crazy. So instead, he says, Nothing, just sitting. Abhimanyu changes the topic. By the way, you still haven't told me, why did you leave Bangalore? What's the real reason you came here? Yug replies, I didn't leave Bangalore. Bangalore left me. Abhimanyu frowns. What do you mean? Yug explains, I lost my job there. Shocked, Abhimanyu asks, What? You lost your job? How? You had a campus placement and a good package. Yug sighs. Yes, but my field was electrical and electronics. They forced me into coding work, squeezing me dry. And then one day, the company said it was running at a loss. To recover financially, they laid off 50 employees. My name was on the list. Abhimanyu is stunned. Yug continues, That's the truth of campus placements. Every year, companies recruit fresh students, but they're replacing last year's batch, the ones who were recruited just a year ago. Colleges and companies run this cycle like a business, but they never think about the lives they ruin by firing people. Abhimanyu asks, Okay, fine, that was the company's fault, but why didn't you try for another job, or even a government job? Yug replies, Do you think I'm stupid? I've been trying for the last 1.5 years for both private and government jobs. Nothing worked. Either the jobs weren't good enough or the pay was too low. I even joined coaching but wasted all my savings in the process. Things got so bad that I had no choice but to leave Bangalore and come back to the village. People usually leave villages to settle in cities. I'm the first fool to do the opposite. Abhimanyu asks seriously, So what now? What will you do in this village? Yug takes a deep breath and says, I've decided to start a business here, a startup.